I want to invite on stage some amazing accelerators. So please welcome Seemantini from Lowe. Come on. You get to pick your dinosaur. Hejar from Sysco. Thank you. And Stephan from Cotopaxi. Please. It's wonderful to see you all. I think only my mom believed once that I could end up on stage with amazing companies like that. So, lesson learned, a mom's trust is very important. I promised my mom that I always mention her name during any summits. So why don't we just have a quick intro, each of you, and tell us a little bit about you.
Absolutely. So first of all, Adrien, it's great to be here and great to be with a set of innovators. I'm Seemantini Godbole. I work for Lowe as a Chief Digital and Information Officer. And Adrien, we have a lot of Lowe's team over here. Joe Cano, who runs our .com business. Michael, who's closely working with your team to lead the marketplace business. And there are several of us here, so it's great to be here.
Thank you.
Hejar Oncel from Cisco. I'm Senior Director of eCommerce and Digital Growth. I'm basically driving the digital transformation at Cisco. And Mirakl has been a great partner so far for us, not just about marketplace, but also help us think outside the box when we are thinking about what's the next big thing in our digital transformation.
Wonderful. Stephan Jacob, one of the founders of Cotopaxi. We're an outdoor gear brand with a deep humanitarian social mission at its core, which is really rooted in personal experience of my co-founder and I. Used to work for a nonprofit organization in Indonesia that was dedicated to the elimination of child labor on the Indonesian archipelago. And that was a really formative experience, taking several hundred kids from fishing platforms and human trafficking situations back into their schools, and also held a mirror in front of my face how lucky I'd been from Germany originally, been born in an environment where I didn't have to worry about food and shelter and education and these things. They were simply given by the sheer luck of where I was born. And that's at the core of the brand, to help level the playing field. We've given over $1 million last year to the foundation, Cotopaxi Foundation, and just went live with Nordstrom on Mirakl to expand our footprint.
Right. Well, thank you again for joining us. So maybe, Seemantini, let's start with you. I remember it was a very gloomy November day of 2015. I was in a tiny office overlooking Harvard in Boston, and I said, okay, I'm going to give a last shot at cold calling Lowe's. And I pick up the phone, I call, someone picks up, which is already a good start, and I start saying, hey, we're Mirakl, we're doing marketplace. The guy said, we'll never do marketplace, hangs up on me. It was Friday night. And guess what? A month ago, you announced that you went live after actually going live in basically 4 months project. Last year, you attended the summit. We were not yet partners. So congratulations first. And maybe building on that, what changed so that you have a marketplace now? You're happy about it? You're excited? Can you tell us a little bit about what changed and what are the dynamics and why specialty retailers like you, it makes sense?
Yeah. So Adrien, I have the dinosaur in my hand. I just want to clarify, Adrien did not call me in 2015. So I just wanted to be, that was not me on the other side of the call. So, you know, I joined Adrien in 2018 in Lowe's, and our CEO, Marvin Ellison, literally runs the company like a startup. So we are a $83-some billion company, but he runs it like a startup. And so if you're working for Marvin, you can't be one of these. And you have to always think about, hey, what is the next thing? How do we accelerate? How do we do things differently? And you know, first of all, our e-commerce platform was broken when we all came in. In fact, in 2018, our website crashed. You were just mentioning, Adrien, how you did a big Black Friday. 2018 was not a big Black Friday. In fact, we were closed on as an e-commerce channel on a Black Friday. And so first we had to fix the platform, which we did. We did a lot of foundational things. We came from 2018 not being able to print an e-receipt on our stores, crash on a Black Friday, to today, you're able to do all kinds of things. Like we have a diffusion-based tools to do visual search. We have a site which is doing tremendous. We grew like 3.5 times from what we were in 2018. However, I think what is next, Adrien, to your point, that's not enough. What we are doing on e-commerce, I'll just say this very openly, it's not enough. And I think for our customers, Lowe's means a lot in terms of changing your floors, redoing your kitchen, completely reimagining your backyard. I think we have a very, very strong emotional connection with our customers. It's not a little something $25 item you're buying that if it didn't work out, you'll just move on in your life. You're doing your floors. You're looking at them every day. You must like them. You must love them. You're redoing your entire kitchen. And what we thought is we have such a great emotional connection, and we should be saying yes to the customers all the time. So when they come to Lowe's, they search for an item. They must find it. And we are not going to be able to grow that way with a first party. We have a great first party assortment, by the way. But that's not going to be enough. And that's what we think that Mirakl partnership and the third-party sellers that we bring in from Mirakl perspective is going to completely accelerate. Joe, Michael, and I talk all the time. And what we are saying is that this is going to be our acceleration for years to come. Because as we bring on more sellers, more items, more innovation to Lowes.com, we are never going to say no, and we are only going to say yes to our customers.
Yes, we can. Reminds me of something. Maybe just building on that, Seemantini, can you give us high level how this Lowe's marketplace kind of fits in the overall experience, and what are some of the key decisions you made in terms of breadth of assortment, in terms of integration into your loyalty programs, like some of the, because people have a lot of like often concrete questions about, do I put it on a separate site, separate tab, one cart, do I take returns, etc. Can you share some of the key pieces of?
I think, Adrien, the thing you talked about, which is the meteors and dinosaurs, one of the things I think we make a mistake is, every business decision has to be about the customer. It's not about me, it's not about Joe, it's not about Michael McCluskey, it's about the customer, right? So if we start that way, if they come to Lowes.com, our customers should have as seamless an experience, right? They really don't care whether it's a third-party seller, it's a first-party. All I need to know is, what am I buying, what is the price, and how do I get it? Do I go pick up in store? Does it get shipped to me? Will there be a delivery window? So on and so forth. They really don't care about how have you done integration. Adrien, we use all these Apple devices every day. Have you and I ever thought about, well, what chip and how much memory? Maybe we geek out a little bit every now and then, and we may do that. But I think we talk about how great my phone is because it has those pictures and that music and that memory. And it's really, so Lowes.com, I really want people to think about only memories and what deck they have built and what floors they put in and what rug they bought. And for that, what we decided was that the experience for customers, they are never going to know that we started Marketplace. And so what we did was we worked with Mirakl and we said, hey, we are going to ingest that seller catalog in such a way that there is this little tip which says that this is sold and shipped by a particular seller. But apart from that, the experience is completely integrated. The customers feel like they are buying the product from Lowe's, they trust Lowe's, and that's exactly how we wanted it.
Great, best practices. I love it.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, Hejar, jumping to you, completely different world. And when you think of your business, you are the leader in the world. You serve a very particular type of customer, restaurants mostly, who are constantly buying food, and they often buy kind of the same thing on a weekly basis. You have very unique delivery services, super organized to meet the. So, when you look at it from the outside, one can wonder why launch a marketplace?
I think Seemantini talked about customers, and that's how it worked for us, really. There was customer demand. There's so many different restaurants that they're buying all their common staples from Sysco, but then they also want to try the latest trends, right? Jicama roots became popular. They want to add that to their offerings. And for that to happen, one of the stats you showed was 10 times faster to bring the same product through Marketplace versus aligning with all the operating sites and creating the space, doing the agreement versus just through Marketplace. You can basically very fast bring that to market, try if the product works. And that was like really the starting thought process for us. But more importantly, what we realized is sometimes our customers want specific brands. We may be offering some of the brands, but you cannot have unlimited warehouse space, right? The endless aisle mentality. And then that was another element that actually fueled our growth. And then the third thing is really sometimes our customers will be suppliers and sellers on Mirakl Marketplace right now for us. Like coffee roasters will buy their disposables from Sysco, and then they want to distribute across the nation. So we give them even an opportunity to be a customer and a seller at the same time. So those are some of the things that I can share that really convinced us that this is something we should do, and this is going to fuel the growth of Sysco. The most important thing for me is probably the most interesting types of food that we're selling on our site is coming from our third party. Like one of our best sellers last week was elk steak and bison hot dog. There's really no reason for you to carry those products at an offsite, but there is demand for it.
I can see why there's no reason to carry it. All jokes aside, I think it's always intriguing to see like a business like yours, massive leader, huge, and still there are products you can't get or brands you can't get. Like it's hard to understand.
I mean, think of the physical limitations of a warehouse space, right? It really starts with that. And on top of it, the trends are moving so fast. A company as big as Sysco for it trying to catch is very different versus Marketplace gives you that opportunity to experiment, to bring to market very fast. And then also, because it's embedded into our customer experience, like Seemantini was saying, it's seamless. It just gives the choice to the customer. The most important, the argument that I'll make is you got to give the choice to the customer, and Marketplace really helps with that. Earlier, we were choosing for them. Now they make their own choices, and they tell us what kind of products they want. It also helps our merchandising understand what are the new trends and how we can answer that in a massive way versus the Marketplace way.
And so we talked about how every day you reach a new record day of sales, which is great. We're yet very far from what you will accomplish and can accomplish. Can you maybe share a little bit of that year one? Because obviously for a distributor there are specific complexities that you guys are working through, but maybe some of your year one learnings and even frustrations maybe.
Yeah, definitely. So I think one of the biggest learnings was that adjacent products make a lot of sense when you start this and you're like, oh, there are these new categories that I can bet that it's going to work. And sometimes customers like that. But most of the time customers come to your platform to buy things that they are used to buy, right? And I won't go to Lowe's.com and try to get, I don't know, hot dog probably, right? And the same thing for Sysco. They really come to find food products. So the closer your offerings are through Marketplace to your core categories that you are known for, the better Marketplace will do. And that was really one of the biggest learnings. And then the other one is also everybody in a large organization like Sysco, everybody looks at Marketplace from a different lens. Some will see it as a growth engine. Some will see it as a method to diversify merchandising. Some will see it as optimizing the logistics, right? So it's all about helping all the other cross-functional teams reach their goals, and then that way marketplace grows organically with the support of these other teams. If you just make this like an initiative led by the digital people, it's not going to work out. It has to be embraced by the core sales, merchandising, and other functions. And the only way for this to happen is you have to have that hypothesis, align with them, let's try this, how marketplace will help you. Once they see it, they start to own it.
I actually know a Swedish home furniture retailer that sells hot dogs in their stores. So maybe Joe, that's Stephan, so you sell on Nordstrom. I think it's, for now, the only marketplace you sell on. And you are building one of the best and coolest and fastest growing brand in the outdoor industry. Can you share a little bit of the thought process that went into making this decision to go marketplace versus wholesale and Nordstrom?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, we're a digitally native brand, right? We're only 10 years old. And initially, Cotopaxi.com was the only place where you could have access to our gear. And we felt strongly that we wanted to own the customer relationship. We wanted to control the brand experience, right? So that's where we started. We then branched out into physical retail, about 20 stores at this point. And then opened up to wholesale as a way to expand reach. So we've, from the get-go, from day zero, we've had an omni-channel, unified commerce sort of mindset. We just sequenced it in a way that we controlled customer experience first and then and not create dependency on other entities to build the brand. And we still believe in that, right? Obviously, DTC matters for all of us here in the room, but we do not see channel conflicts per se. We have no, like, because we're so young, right? There's very little like legacy channel conflict from a customer perspective, from a systems perspective. We're agnostic. The discovery of the brand, it doesn't matter to us whether a customer meets us by walking into a retail stores, by shopping on Cotopaxi.com, by walking into an REI. And at this point, with the same mindset, we're saying, plugging into the marketplace environment, obviously you've shared the stats, right? That is where, from a reach perspective, right, as we continue to grow this brand with all the challenges from a customer acquisition perspective and do that cost effectively, marketplaces is a natural extension, and we feel privileged to work with amazing retailers. Nordstrom, for example, we've had a wholesale relationship for many years, and so this is just a natural extension for us to continue to build brand with really, really strong partners.
And so, when you think about, I mean, I know we have a lot of Nordstrom people in the room, and Sarah, Katie. Can you tell us a little bit about, like, the real day-to-day experience of working with an amazing retailer like Nordstrom and their marketplace team, and what is special about the relationship? What is different from other ways of doing retail?
For sure. Yeah, I think we have that direct experience juxtaposing the go-live process through Mirakl with Nordstrom, and obviously we're talking to several other wonderful potential brand partners that are also in the room, right? So Nordstrom is the beginning, we'll continue to grow beyond that. And I juxtapose that to some of the conversations that we've had for a long time with long, spec sheets of going sort of the traditional dropship route with some of our key accounts. And it's complicated. It takes a long time. It's very resource intense. There's a lack of control, right? It's a little bit of a black box, right? Like both for us and I think the retail partner. And so for us, this is just a way to accomplish the same, increase reach, test, learn, experiment, but in a much, much more cost-efficient manner that actually has better control on both sides, right? To like test out product in a low-risk, manner on a new platform, but do so with a much faster and much lower lift. So it's been a very, very positive experience with that regard.
But do you typically discuss with them this is what I'm planning on listing on the platform.
We
or
do.
They reach out and say, hey, would you have...
Absolutely. It's a collaborative process, right? We share assortment. Obviously, we don't know the customer base of our partners as well as they do. They have the best perspective on what will work with their audience, right? And so we listen. We take a very humble take on that. Yes, we know our brand, but it is a give and take of like learning and like assessing what's the right assortment to start with, and then iterate, quickly with that regard. So absolutely, it is a collaboration and a partnership.
And often there is this kind of myth that third parties are not going to provide the end customer with an experience that's on par with the bar that has been set by the retailer. Are you getting complaints from customers every day and people saying, oh, this box is horrible? And
no, zero. We obviously, as a seller, right, we're channel agnostic, but maniacal about every single interaction that we have with our customers, right? So I think it starts with obviously a well-curated portfolio of partners, which Mirakl, I think, has done a wonderful job of ensuring that the partners, the operators that are on the platform meet a bar of operating, efficiency and excellence. And then it's on us, right, to deliver on the SLAs, right, that we agree with and that the marketplace is, set for us, right, to say, these transactions, they route just like any order on Cotopaxi.com or from any other source, right? They flow down to our WMS, get currently actually higher priority because we want to make sure that we really deliver on the customer experiences as we're learning, and then get prioritized essentially with our express orders, right, to make sure that we ship with the same level of diligence, right, and an extra pair of eyes from a quality perspective. So no concerns. It'll be really interesting as we continue to scale. We track NPS religiously. Have held an NPS of north of 80 ever since our inception. So to take a cohort view at that and do we see a difference in the customer experience marketplace versus direct DTC? That'll be a really interesting analysis. But so far, no concerns.
And so Nordstrom offers the ability for partners to advertise through their retail media program. Is this something you're participating in? Or not yet, or thinking of?
Not yet. We want to get our operational ducks in a row. It is absolutely part of the conversation as we look at the different possibilities to deploy, capital for acquisition. Marketplaces will become one of those buckets that we will look at, absolutely.
So, retail media will have a lot of sessions around retail media, and not just retail media on its own, but the symbiotic relationship with platform strategies. So maybe Seemantini on that topic. It's a hot topic. And what's the vision of for Lowe's marketplace around retail media?
Absolutely. So Adrien, first of all, we already have an existing Lowe's Media Network business. And we understand that that's a great business for us. We continue to grow with it. And marketplace will absolutely be a conversation in that. And, I think there is demand for sellers to be able to talk about their products on Lowes.com. And we absolutely welcome that. So we'll continue to look at that.
And how do you think, because it's interesting because obviously we've launched our retail media solution around a year ago, and it's been massive adoption across our customer base. I think we've crossed now 40 clients who have used our platform, including customers, for example, like Jumia, who are pure marketplaces, almost $1 billion online, who don't use Mirakl's platform because they were built way before. So we see the adoption, but a lot of the time we are part of the discussions with our clients in terms of how many rows do we give, for example, for sponsored products? Like, do we become Amazon and basically everything is sponsored? Or how do you think about the trade-off between this super high margin, quite easy to unlock additional revenue channel and the balance between the customer experience?
Yeah, absolutely. And, I think some of these discussions, Adrien, are getting accelerated. For example, like you said, we signed the contract about 4 months ago, if I'm not wrong. And the sequence in our head was between your teams and our teams was like, okay, let's get the operational stuff really buttoned down nicely. First, launching itself, we didn't know how many surprises are we going to encounter. We wanted to move really fast. And then we said, hey, fulfilled by Lowe's and retail media, these are the conversations which will happen much later in 2025, is what we were thinking. But the fact is, I think our teams have been extremely nimble and fast. Like 4 months, we launched. We have been live for like 6-7 weeks. I'm looking at my team, I think 7 weeks already, seeing continued GMV growth. So I think lots of discussions, Adrien, are getting really accelerated. From a customer experience perspective also, the integration, we really wanted it to be integrated, the sellers' SKUs as well as our first-party SKUs. So today on Lowes.com, if you go and take a picture, you immediately can surface a lot of products which look like you take a picture of a chair and say, I love this chair, want to find more chairs like this on Lowes.com, you'll find chairs. And Adrien, we are able to integrate the first party and third party. Every time you take a picture and say, hey, search, it's going to show you both first and third party. And that's how we wanted the experience to be for the customers, really seamless. I think retail media, the way I think about it is, Adrien, that if it is useful for the customer to look at how do I use this product, exactly how do I install it, there is a lot of complexity in home improvement. But if we helped with that in a sort of like a video, which is also an ad, but it is also useful from a customer experience perspective, that's the route we are going to take. What is really useful for the customer, and let the customers be voting with their wallet and their coming back to the site and their satisfaction scores, and those are the North Stars we are going to use to continue to develop.
Okay, makes sense. And so, Hejar, what's interesting is that you're also thinking about retail media, not necessarily surprisingly, but a lot of our customers in the enterprise B2B world are proactively asking about retail media. Can you share a little bit about the rationale on your side in addition to the kind of driving additional revenues dimension?
Yeah, the real estate on our platform, it's a closed platform, only our customers have access, right? And then they have to come there every week at least to reorder what they need for the upcoming week, right? So it's very precious real estate. We don't expect the same click rates that Amazon will get, right? But our conversion rates are extremely high, right? So our sellers know that spot on the search results on top in sponsored search or at a small ad or a video like Seemantini was talking about is very precious, because below the fold, our customers don't even go there. So it's very precious. And then obviously the way we want to do this in a way that it's aligned with our strategy of we wanted to sell this product anyway, and now let's help our supplier actually push this up, right? And then make it more visible for our customers and still give the choice to the customer. That's how we are thinking about it, and our approach is very different than in a B2C, very high click, very high views type platform. The other thing that I was going to say, a few other things that we did, personalization was a very important element in our digital transformation journey. And now we reached a maturity there. So that was very important also for us to reach that maturity before we considered retail media. Because if you just want to show any, I would call it dumb ad to your customers that is not related to the type of cuisine that they're serving, right? It's really not that useful. If I am surfacing mozzarella, probably I want to do that at an Italian restaurant, right? I don't want to do that at a Chinese restaurant, right? That's very simple, but our personalization is way more smarter than that. So I think that was also important, and now we're at that maturity level that we feel comfortable about moving forward.
It's funny you mentioned that, because we were recently selected to replace an incumbent retail media technology, and the customer came to us and showed us an example where they had some sponsored products, beers, in the baby milk category, probably because the outdated engine that was powering the incumbent technology thought that liquid equaled liquids, and so I mean it echoes. I get your. I get your point. And maybe, I mean, I know we said we weren't going to talk about politics, and we're not going to talk about politics, but in your industry, Hejar, we've heard a lot about, you know, the impact on tariffs, on food, etc. Is there anything that you think about marketplace helping in a context of uncertainty and?
Yeah, I'll go again to the same stat, right? It's 10 times faster to onboard a supplier through marketplace, right, rather than like the first party. And then more importantly, that also helps you diversify your sourcing, right? So in that case, when it comes to disposables, some things are coming from China, right? And then the rest of the food is coming from different countries, and we didn't know how the tariffs landscape will shape, right? Now we're at a very different world. 2 months ago, every single country was tariffed, right? And some Latin American countries were tariffed very heavily. And then a lot of the food we're eating at home or at restaurants are coming from those countries. So that really gave us that like very quick response team through marketplace, quickly onboard alternative sourcing capabilities through it. And again, that takes me back. How do we talk to our other colleagues? And that's when actually our merchandising colleagues really embraced marketplace. They were like, oh wow, it's not only endless aisle, it's also given me opportunity to diversify my sourcing.
And so, I mean, looking a bit forward, each of you, if you are to, like you're at different stages in the journey, but I think you're all at the beginning of what we hope and believe will be a long journey. If you were to you know, project yourself and we talked a little bit about this agentic world we're going into, but beyond that, and what are some of the kind of priorities, but also wishes you form in terms of how this can scale and shape up and transform your business? So maybe Stephan.
Yeah. Yeah, we see the marketplace channel as brand accretive, as a brand accretive full price channel. Right? It's not to offload product, it's not to discount. It needs to hold its own in comparison with our DTC, right? Because I don't want to be in a position where 6 months from now, 12 months from now, we're looking at this business and yes, it has grown, but it's at subpar margin to the rest of the business, right? So I think it needs to be full price, hence the control that we have over pricing and the, you know, full assortment, merchandise mix, et cetera, it matters, right? And the flexibility that we have through, you know, a partner like Mirakl. And so full price, truly brand accretive. I think the other big opportunity that we are seeing is what can we learn for the rest of the business through our marketplace experiences. And that extends from merchandising. We've had some, or creative, you know, visioning. We had some amazing experiences with, you know, Free People Movement, for example. This is not through Mirakl, but it's a direct relationship. The way they merchandise us as a brand is inspiring. Like we're looking at this like, huh, I love that. We would not have done it this way. It works, it looks amazing. What can we learn from that? Internationally, Japan, we're distributing there, same thing, right? The way that they're juxtaposing the brand in a more of a fashion contest, right? Going beyond sort of core outdoor, more into fashion, and we've always sort of thought of ourselves as the most outsidery outside brand anyways, right? That's inspiring and we learn from that. I think beyond that, there is obviously technology. You mentioned agentic checkout, virtual try-ons, like all the disruption, right, in terms of e-commerce experiences. We need to drive a lot of this ourselves, but absolutely do we learn from all of the different partners that showcase and create amazing customer experiences that we can again draw from and benefit for the rest of the business. So we see it as an accelerator, and then obviously there's sell-through data, right? What works with different audiences, right? Like the reporting, you know, on the back end. All of that makes us a stronger brand across the board, not just within Marketplace. So Marketplace for us is truly an accelerator to learn and grow.
And so, I mean, a couple of weeks ago, we were invited to give a keynote in Korea at a big reunion of all the department stores in the world. I think there were more than 100 department stores represented. And beyond department stores, there are many other channels on which you could have this kind of. So if you're thinking about 10 years from now, do you see yourself being, you know, on a handful of third-party channels, 50, 100?
The same way that we think of our wholesale presence, right? We're in, let's say, 6 to 7 key accounts that make up a majority of the volume. And then there is the long tail of specialty retail, 600, 800 accounts. I can see a scenario where we'll have some core and key partners that we invest in, that we do spend money with, and then experiment with more of a long tail. What we don't want to do, especially in the early days, is just shotgun it, right? And show up everywhere and suddenly not give any of these partners the attention that it is required to truly, build and grow the relationship together. So we start small with a more focused, set of partners, but over time, yes, I absolutely do see the potential to expand.
So we'll have you on stage when you're an active user of Mirakl Connect and our AI native multi-channel selling, to talk about how this helps grow your business. So it's like, I promised the leader of that business that I would advertise a little bit this great innovation of ours. That's done. But there are some great sessions about it later on. Maybe Hejar also, as we kind of close this panel, if you think about how you project yourself in this journey, what are some of the key themes?
Well, I expect Naji to make the magic and basically help us the catalog transformer, right? Make it as plug and play as possible, especially in our industry, FDA, a lot of regulations, we have a lot more metadata that we have to collect from our customers than probably in the case of clothing or something like that. But AI technology is already mature enough, so I'm looking forward to getting more and more exciting things from Naji in terms of that, and also pricing compare, right? Are we priced right? How are the others pricing the same product? And then giving that intelligence to us will be also invaluable.
And when you think about how big this can scale, I mean, in light of a multi-tens of billion-dollar business that you guys are?
I mean, we started the journey with the goal of 1 billion, and then that goal hasn't changed in terms of the GMV. And in scale of Sysco, that will still mean 1 to 2% of our sales. But it's a big number. But the demand is there. We know the customer demand is there. It's just having the right set of products as fast as possible available to our customers. We just launched it 12 months ago. We've been growing, and if this growth trend continues, we're going to get there.
So every time I see a Sysco truck on the highway, I take a picture, and my kids say, "Dad, you should have both hands on the wheels." So I hope my French driving will still allow me to see the day when you reach $1 billion of marketplace sales.
Thank you.
Yeah. And maybe just Seemantini. Sometimes I'm like, well, how can I come up with those stupid things? But I mean, the story is true about taking pictures of the trucks. Seemantini, what about you? I mean, it's been one of the most exciting adventures for Mirakl, an amazing partnership. I think there's nothing but praises about how agile and fast and committed, and I think the partnership we're having also is truly unique and very appreciative. But beyond that, how do you think about the future ahead?
Absolutely. And Adrien, I would love for Lowe's.com to be a place that customers love and sellers love. I think if we made that happen, that made it the most seller-friendly marketplace solution between Mirakl and Lowe's.com, and made it most customer-friendly solution that I can find stuff, I think that will be amazing. Couple of different things that you mentioned. So the AI, agentic AI, and I know we are going to have a session shortly. We have something called as Milo. It's right on Lowe's.com homepage. You click on Milo, and then you can ask questions such as, hey, I have a hole in my drywall. What do I do about it? My faucet is leaking. What do I do about it? And it gives you very nice, it talks about your problem, but then it also gives you YouTube videos, because Lowe's has a phenomenal library, articles, how-to guides, the products you should buy. And the products you should buy is going to be a mix of first party and the seller product. So I think this is really, we are trying to make it as seller friendly and of course customer friendly as possible. So we'll absolutely do that. You are right, Adrien, about the partnership has been fantastic. And we would love to be, you know, when you're doing stuff, then why not do it big? I mean, why do it small? So I saw your slide about, you know, the biggest customers and the numbers and stuff like that. I mean, $1 billion is like a no-brainer. We should absolutely do that, and why not more? So we'll absolutely continue to work with your teams to do that. And lastly, Adrien, we will send you a Lowe truck picture all framed, and so that you keep both your hands on the steering wheel, and we need you to keep growing. So yeah, I mean, we should do that.
Well, thank you. We are exactly on time. I could be German for that level of precision. The same way Hejar said, every day we do more sales than the previous day. I feel that every panel is even better than the previous panel, which is already hard because the bar is really high. So you guys have been amazing. Thank you so much for your partnership. Big round of applause. And you can keep the dinosaurs as a little souvenir, yeah.